afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of The Democratic View. I'm the hostess. My name is Phyllis Italiano, and today we have a very unusual show. Sort of morphed from a show that we did a few weeks ago with Ocean Rescue. We have with us today three people. One is Bob Miller, Helene Fallon, and Cynthia McKelvey. I got it right. McKelvey. Oh, yeah. McKelvey. All right. Well, I almost got it right. Anyway, what we're going to talk about is that we're going to start out by talking about an event that will be occurring pretty soon. Next Friday, as a matter of fact. Now, today is September the 5th, so it'll be next Friday that this event will occur. It is an event that began in California with a man named Izzy Paskowitz, who had a child who had autism. And he found that the best way he could make a connection with his son was to put him in the water, put him on a surfboard, and the child was able to relax and enjoy and connect with his father. So that is what that event is going to be about. It happens all over the eastern seaboard, as a matter of fact, in different places. And the Friday that we are not, the next Friday coming up, will be when it will be happening in Montauk, our dear Montauk. And so tell me, Bob, where are you from, raised? I like to know that sort of thing so we know. I want you to know it's the first guest I've ever had that came with no shoes.
Oh my goodness. Straight from the beach. I mean, that's where I go.
Well, I couldn't. I was at the beach, but I got my shoes on, though.
Fair enough.
So where are you born and raised?
I was born and raised on Long Island in Nassau County in a town called Merrick, right near the ocean. But I came out here as a lifeguard about 20 years ago, and full-time now, 10 years in Montauk. I volunteer for Ocean Rescue, like you said, but I also volunteer for the Surfers Healing since they've been out here, and now for the Long Island Communities of Practice, which these wonderful women are from.
And you also have just completed a master's degree in special education.
Yes.
I probably would have been in your class if I was a child.
I would have been in my own class.
We all know about learning disabled people like us.
We all have special needs.
Yes. And so we have also Cynthia, and Cynthia born and raised?
In Holland, and I've been in the United States for about 20 years and moved to Sag Harbor 8 years ago, where I live with my husband and my 3 children.
And what is your background? One of you is a teacher, am I correct?
Helene.
That's you?
Yes.
Okay. So you sort of got involved in this whole thing, how?
When my own children were struggling, and we, I don't know how to go there. When my own children were struggling and needed evaluations is when I realized that there was support needed for families, for parents, for siblings, and trying to navigate these complicated systems, and that's how...
As indeed they are, as an educator and someone from a very large district. I'm from Yonkers Public Schools, as well as a private school up in Bedford Village. I know that you do have to know how to maneuver and find your way around, getting the resources that you need. Yeah. And so, Helene, you are?
I was born in Nassau County also, close to Bob, actually, Seaford. My family bought a summer home in Montauk when I was about 12 years old and retired to Montauk. My parents retired, and I moved out after college. And so we've lived there for about 32 years now.
Where'd you go to college?
LIU. Post, and I am actually current adjunct faculty at LIU in special education. And but my first background, my first degree was in social work, and so I really got more into this field around social work, and also became very interested in special education when my own kids had, struggles that they were going through academically, and decided I wanted to learn more about it, and it pushed me into this field to go back to school and get a master's in special education and to have a better understanding of what's going on. And so I've been in this field now for probably 17 or 18 years.
I like to tell a story about when I was doing my first master's degree at Manhattanville College. I had a professor, a very passionate man, who was talking about, it was my first course in learning disabilities, and he was talking about learning disabilities. And for the first time, and I was a mother of 4 children doing this. I had to be at least 45, 46. And I knew that man was describing me, who had struggled so much in my early years learning to read, learning to what I had to do in the classroom, how to sit still, and it's amazing how I was able to finally function. A lot happens, in puberty, when the wire and the sockets sort of come together, and you begin to be able to make some progress. So the event that we're talking about now is this event that you are going to be a part of, and you are going to be a part of, and you are going to be a part of. Which one of you is going to tell us about the event?
Can I get into that a little bit, Bob? Do you mind?
Of course, no, please.
The event you're talking about is Surfers Healing, which is next Friday on September 12th at Ditch Plains Beach. And Surfers Healing, I don't want to guess how many years they've been coming out, but if I could estimate, I would say for about 7 or 8 at least years now that I can remember that they've been coming to Montauk. And it actually, the Pasquis family travels internationally to provide these camps to children, and they're extremely successful. And through their vision and the great work that they do, many of us have sort of tried to capture the momentum that their group has on a smaller level locally. So what Surfers Healing is a terrific organization that travels around and usually brings in anywhere from 50 to, I think, 150 young children, typically with autism, sometimes with other disabilities. And they provide the kids with surf lessons, usually with professional surfers. And the families get, breakfast and lunch and have just a beautiful day on the beach. And it's just a great networking, very powerful day where families get to be together. The kids can be who they are with no judgment. So we started volunteering right from the beginning. My family, my husband and my kids surf, and so we started being involved in the event as volunteers, and just thought, what a great opportunity for families and kids. And so my vision really was I wonder what we could do locally to continue this so it's not happening once a year. And so when we talk about what our foundation does, that's where it really stemmed from. So although we're not, Surfers Healing, and we look up to them, we've learned from them, and we're very proud to be able to volunteer and be part of their programs when they have them.
So as a person, Bob, who also knows that, years ago, you would have had your own IEP. And for those of you who don't know what that is, that's an individual evaluation.
Education plan.
Educational procedure?
Plan,
right, exactly. Obviously, I've been retired 10 years. But tell me what you feel when you're in the water.
Well, the water has changed my life, and helping these children in the water has changed my life. Those children have changed my life. Those children have what sent me back to get my master's in special education, which, in a similar story, sitting in classroom, recognized how much I'm also special ed. We all are. We're all somewhere on that spectrum. But what this Surfers Healing does is it brings all these communities together, brings all these people together onto the beach. It's all their families. And that's what's really nice. It's a beach full of people that aren't pointing fingers at one another. They're all accepting one another. And when I'm in the water with these kids, Well, I think of it as an experience that they're going to remember for the rest of their life. Because I remember catching the first waves I ever caught in my life. And when I teach, and I've been teaching surfing for 10 years now in Montauk, and have been part of the Surfers Healing, and now with LICOP again, getting to take these children in the water and help them surf, and to help their families surf, and their brothers and sisters, and to help them laugh. And, well, I'm thankful and grateful that I've had the opportunity to be in the water with these kids. And that's what I'm thinking about when I'm out there. That it's a blessing to be a part of this program, whether
Funny,
it's
you
Surfers Healing or the LICOP, sorry.
You should talk about the first time you took a wave. I also remember the first time I took a wave. I mean, I wasn't on a surfboard, but my first trip to Jones Beach and my first experience in the ocean. And boy, oh boy, that is an imprint on your brain that you never forget. I remember that feeling of rising and falling with, whoa, I mean, it's a thrill. It really is a thrill, isn't it? So that's what we're hoping that these children are able to experience and come away with some joy, as indeed, I guess, all three of you come away with joy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's absolutely wonderful. So, but I want to go on a little bit with some of the other things that we talked about before. You're part of or you are, the Long Island Communities of Practice. Tell us what that is.
The Long Island Communities of Practice is a foundation that we started, again, about 7 or 8 years ago.
Who started it?
I guess we, with people that had similar interest and were willing to be on our board and to help us raise some money to do some things, people in the same mindset that they saw a need, initially on the East End, but it's really grown to where we provide support to all families on Long Island and even out of the region if they need support, or we can help them virtually, provide them some support. It actually came from a theory that the federal government uses a lot now in a lot of the work and a lot of the grants that they put out, called Communities of Practice, which is really defined as a model, a framework, where all stakeholders come to the table at all times to help to create policy, to help to share resources, that we believe that if everyone works together and stops working in silos, that we can accomplish far more, we can build capacity, and we can hopefully improve outcomes for our kids with special needs and their families. So it's really a framework, and I had been working in this, our day job is in the department, we work with grants funded by the Department of Education, federal and state, and we provide technical assistance to families and to schools to try to improve outcomes for kids with special needs. So that's what kind of led us into this. We just thought, wow, there's just such an opportunity to connect agencies, to have events all year round. And it really, what was amazing to me, I think one of the very first things I did when I started working in this, both in the foundation and in the field, was I had always volunteered in all these different organizations since I had gotten interested in this. And I realized that there were all these great agencies that were funded through all different public funding sources, and they didn't know each other,
Yes.
They hadn't worked together, or they were like, oh, what do they do? I still learn every day, because there's so much, truly there is so much out there. It's not always perfect, and the systems aren't always perfect, but it's really important that people know that there's help, and people can, and we still every day get so excited to be able to say to people, take our brochure, we're available, we're here to help you. Your tax money pays us, to help you, to provide you with assistance for free. And so I'm so happy to be here, not only to talk about Long Island Communities of Practice and the opportunities we hope to give, especially local families, but also that we're a resource. Long Island Communities of Practice is a resource to connect families with all of the other things that we've learned about in the 17 years and 10 years that we've been working in the field.
So how do you get this across to people? How do they get to know about this? Because I certainly have not heard of this. I'm from Westchester County. I don't know if does this exist in Westchester County?
Yes, it
If
does.
it does, even as a school administrator, I can tell you, who sat at many a table at a CSE, and
Yeah.
I never heard of this.
And what's interesting is I actually work with the people very closely with the Westchester Center, which is at the Westchester Institute of Human Development, and they actually spend a lot of time in Yonkers. So it just shows you, I mean, here on Long Island, we have over 500,000 kids and over 60,000 kids classified with special needs. So there are 4 of us that, have to get to 127 districts, or it might be different today from yesterday, but approximately 127 districts. And, we do anything we can. That's why, one of the reasons we're here, and we go to trainings, we go to parades, we go to church events, we go to autism walks, SEPTA meetings, whatever we can do to get the word out that we exist.
And so if I were a social worker at a school district, I would get in touch with you about some child who has definite needs, and you would be able to help the social worker to avail this child and the parents of ways of helping them?
There's 2 ways it can be done. The school district or school district personnel can contact us, and we will help them to know the resources to share with the family, or they can have the family call us directly, and then we can help the family directly. Sometimes we all meet together as a team, but what doesn't happen, we can't have a district call and say, Mary Smith needs help, can you call them? Because of privacy law, HIPAA
Absolutely.
law, right?
Yes, of course.
So there are many
Of
ways,
course.
and we're slowly getting more and more known, and we just try. We'll do anything, not anything. We think out of the box.
Well, you're here,
Yeah.
which isn't easy to be here and
We're here.
talking like this, because it's a little bit, you're on television and it's a little nerve-wracking.
Well, thanks to Ocean Rescue for recognizing, Bob has worked with us for such a long time and has such a passion, as Cynthia and I do, about working with these families. And Ocean Rescue has always been so incredibly supportive of, Paddlers for Humanity, if you don't mind me jumping. Paddlers for Humanity is a local group that raises funds through various races and paddles and great activities. And
What is the group?
Paddlers for Humanity.
Paddlers, good God.
You
I've
should
never
invite them on the
heard of
next
them.
show.
Yes,
I've never
yes.
heard of I've heard other ones for humanity, but I haven't heard that.
So they do all this great fundraising, and they have supported our events for the last 5 years. And, Ocean Rescue supports them. They support us. Ocean, the more, same with the community of practice concept, is let's not work in silos. Let's not hold on to the money. Let's say, look, we've got a little bit of money. We want to have an event. Let's do it together.
And when you say an event, what do you mean by an event?
We do surf events, we do paddleboarding, we do kayaking, we have swimming at the Y all year long. We do swim meets at the Y where we have swim instructors and lifeguards.
So where can I find this out? I have 2 kids, 2 grandchildren who could use this kind of thing. How can I find out about this?
Talk to them.
Oh, nice. But you can visit our website. It's www.licop.org. And we have an event calendar. And you can send us a note. And when families are in need of resources, support, we have our contact information there.
Aha.
Yeah.
You can sign up for our listserv. We send out all kinds of information.
And not only about our own organization with where we are presenting or where we're going to be distributing information, but we also share what other organizations are doing, so that when another training or conference or meeting might speak to somebody else, we can share that that's happening on Long Island.
Having many years of being in the classroom and in the schools, I can't tell you how many kids have diverse needs, and it's really amazing. And our goal, of course, is to make these children become successful human beings, contributing to the society that they live in and finding a way for themselves to accept themselves, for one thing, because there comes a point where you have to sort of stop thinking of yourself as I did when I was a kid, of being tall, ugly, and dirty, because I was always into things, and couldn't learn in first and second grades. So those kids also have to come to feel good about themselves.
And I think that that's something that our events really kind of help accomplish, because when we invite the families with a child with a disability, their friends, their siblings, we come together as families, and families that struggle with all different things, whether it be educational or emotional, physical.
Yes.
We all have different needs, and so for families to see other families who they can really connect to, because they kind of walk similar shoes and might have similar struggles and celebrate different milestones than a family without a child with a disability might be able to recognize. It's really nice. There's something very, very satisfying, and it is such a great feeling to walk away, to see families connecting, siblings connecting, and children socialize in an environment where there is no judgment, where you can come, and if there is a tantrum or any kind of like physical, not physical, like, yeah.
A breakdown.
Nobody even really looks up, because we've all been there.
And having Bob, people, I'm looking at Bob, we have amazing high school kids, junior lifeguards, the hurricane swim team. We have, and having Bob and people like Bob with the education and the passion to help the kids, and the knowledge and the skill is so crucial, because we could never do it alone. It's really just knowing that the people, and I have to say, I don't think there's anybody that works with us, volunteers with us, that doesn't have the passion, because why would you come back? Bob does this on his own time.
Right.
He's usually, taking off of work to volunteer to help us, so that, he can help with the kids. It's just awesome.
Well, being someone who has been involved with children, and I was in elementary also in my life, I will tell you, there is nothing and no way of life that is more satisfying. You don't make the big bucks, and I'm sure I could have, had I been a cutthroat lawyer, I could have been sitting on a pile right now. And I'm not sitting on a pile by a long shot. But I know that if I ever meet any one of my students who I worked with, I know that there's between us an incredible bond and a basic love that exists between us. And it's very satisfying. It's a lovely way to live your life. The thing that has always amazed me, and I have said this on so many shows, because I have worked with other people who are the kinds of people like you are, who give of themselves to the community, to the world. What is it that makes you all want to do that kind of thing as compared to the others who are only out for themselves and how much money they can gross and make? And here you are, all of you, just giving to the world.
On cloud nine. I mean, those kids, you walk away from that with such a fantastic feeling.
I know.
And it's of giving of yourself.
That's right.
That you received such a fantastic feeling. And the role model that you can do, like I work in the schools, and one day I mentioned that I was going to a surf camp. And this little girl says, "Oh, can I go to a surf camp?" I said, "Well, it's a camp where we help children with special needs surfing, it's for them." And she's like, "Oh, can I come? Can I come?" And I said, "Well, you'd have to volunteer." And this little 8-year-old girl showed up the next day. never once asked to surf, but she wanted to help those kids. And it's that acceptance, like you mentioned, not just of those children of who they are, but of the other children around them, that they're all just children.
Yeah.
And
I didn't
we're all
get a
just,
chance to say, but I want to thank you very much. We are off. Yeah.
but yeah, those, like that
But that's
opportunity to teach those
what you
children.
really do at